16th overall to the Atlanta Hawks is Kobe Bufkin out of Michigan. And like other prospects, is far from being a finished product, but his progress is notable and impressive during his time at Michigan. The Wolverines guard raised his scoring average by 11 points per game from the previous season. That's the largest points per game increase in the Big Ten over the past 2 seasons. He put in the work, and it's paid off. Kobe Bufkin going a few spots further down the board than Jet Howard. Adam, this is the guy we thought that would go up a little higher. Kobe Bufkin now heading to Atlanta.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. A-. Kobe Bufkin, a late blooming guard. Some people had him inside the top 10. Talk about a guy who made strides this year. Had a bunch of DNPs last year as a freshman. Not sure people realize how young Kobe Bufkin is. While he was a sophomore this year, really the age of a freshman. He is a super smooth lefty, has potential to play both on and off the ball. More 2 than 1 at this point in time. But in the NBA, if you have the versatility to play on and off ball, and you have the markings of a positive defender long term, I'm not going to call him an NBA-ready defender right now, but I think he has the markings of a positive defender and, by all accounts, a tremendous worker. Now, he's got to get a lot stronger. He's got to see if he can play with the ball in his hands a little more consistently. But what this is for Atlanta, this is an insurance policy if ultimately they don't continue to build around Trae Young. There was a lot of talk about whether or not they were going to continue to go in that direction. Coaching change comes in. This is one last attempt to see if you can build a contender around Trae Young. If not, they've got another guard that they can turn to in the future.
Was thinking the exact same thing on the Trae Young front. We will see if that comes to pass. Bufkin's a guy who I am not as high on as some. What's interesting is how this draft is unfolding here, and guys that are potentially on the board that teams might not have anticipated would still be there. Bufkin in this range is no surprise. Some thought he could actually squeak into that 10 to 12 range, but he did so much for his stock steadily over the course of the year. You know, I remember hearing back in December some real draft buzz about him, and at the time, you know, he was just a role player at best as a freshman, but the measurables, the potential, interviewed extremely well. We'll see if he's the kind of guy who you draft, you know, mid-first round that can grow into someone that can really, really produce for your team in a very effective way. I think his spectrum is fairly wide. If you told me he wound up being a Jag, it would not surprise me. But from Michigan, big picture, if I can speak to the college angle of this, it is having as good of a night as it could expect, because the team was a letdown last season, kind of a murky future for next season ahead. Juwan Howard loses Hunter Dickinson to the transfer portal. And yet, amid all of that, he's sitting here with two, you know, top half of the first round lottery level picks. That's a good job by Juwan Howard and his staff.